Can you show me how you'd open the bonnet?
To open the bonnet on a Ford Fiesta, come to the passenger side door. And pull this lever towards you. Pull the lever and you'll hear the bonnet pop. So once you've popped the bonnet up, come around to the front. There's a yellow catch that you'll need to just flick across. Holding the hood with one hand, grab your yellow stick, place it into the holes and that will secure it firmly.
Can you show me how you'd open the bonnet and tell me how you check the engine has sufficient oil?
So to check the oil, this is your dipstick. You pull the dipstick out and wipe it clean. Put it back into the same place. And then when you take it out, you can check that the oil marking is between the maximum and minimum.
Can you open the bonnet and tell me how the engine has sufficient coolant?
This is your engine coolant, and you just have to make sure it's between the minimum and maximum markings.
Can you open the bonnet and tell me how you check that you have a safe level of hydraulic brake fluid?
This is brake fluid, and check that it's between the minimum and maximum markings. It's difficult to see, but they are just at the side of the tub.
Can you open the bonnet for me? Tell me how you check you've got sufficient windscreen washer fluid.
This is where your windscreen washer fluid goes. To close the bonnet, take the weight of it with one hand, stick out with the other, make sure that clips back into place, bring the hood down and let it slam.
Tell me how you check the brakes are working before you start a journey.
Press the brake pedal. It shouldn't feel loose or slack.
Can you tell me where you would find the information for the recommended tyre pressures of this car and how your tyre pressures can be checked?
So for the recommended tyre pressures, I would check the manual of the car, or there is a sticker on the passenger door which will tell me what the tyre pressures should be. And then when I'm at the petrol station, I can check it on the air pump. I'll check all the tyres when they're cold, and don't forget to check the spare tyre.
Can you tell me how you would make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted so it does provide the best protection in the event of a crash?
So I would just push my head against the headrest just to check that it feels comfortable and it supports my head. Ideally, we're looking for the top of my ears to be roughly about halfway on the headrest. If it didn't feel comfortable, it's adjustable, so I can look to move it up or down to suit.
Can you tell me how you would check the tyres to ensure they have sufficient tread depth and that their general condition is safe to use on the road?
So we're just going to check each tyre on the car, and what we're looking for is making sure that there's no lumps or cuts or any tears on the tyre. And we check the tread depth as well. That has to be a minimum of 1.6 millimetres.
Can you tell me how you would check that the headlights and taillights are working? You don't need to exit the vehicle.
So to turn on the headlights and taillights, I twist this dial round to the headlight position. I would then get out of the car and check the front and the rear lights are all working.
Can you tell me how you would check that there was a problem with your anti-lock braking system?
If there was a problem with the anti-lock braking system, a warning light would appear on my dashboard.
Can you tell me how you would check the direction indicators are working? You don't need to exit the vehicle.
So I would press the hazard warning light button, which is just here. That will put on both my left and right indicators. I can then get out of the car, walk around and check they're all working correctly.
Can you tell me how you check that the brake lights were working on this car?
So I would put the ignition on and press the brake pedal. If someone was standing behind my car, they can then tell me if the brake lights are working. If I'm on my own, then I make sure that my car is reversed up to like a window or another vehicle, and especially at night I should then be able to see the reflections of my brake lights by looking in the middle mirror.
Can you tell me how you'd check the power assisted steering is working before you start a journey?
So when the engine is off, the steering wheel is very stiff and very heavy. You can't really move it too much. But when I start the engine, I would expect to find that it becomes a lot looser and I'll have a lot of movement within the steering wheel. If it remains very stiff and heavy, then that is what could indicate a problem with my power steering.
Can you tell me how you'd switch on the rear fog light? And also explain to me when you might use it. You don't need to exit the vehicle.
So for the rear fog light, I turn on the headlights and then I press this button here. That's for my rear fog light. I will only use them when visibility is reduced to 100 metres or less.
Can you tell me how you'd switch your headlight from a dipped beam to a main beam? And how would you know this is on when you're here inside the car?
So I make sure that my dipped beam is on, and then using the stalk on the left side, I can push that away. I know that it's on in the car because there is a blue light that appears on the dashboard. To turn it off, I just bring that stick towards me again.
When it's safe to do so, show me how you would wash the front windscreen.
Pull the stalk on the right towards you and hold it for a few seconds. It will wipe and stop automatically.
When you're happy to do so, can you show me how you would wash the rear windscreen?
Push the stalk on the right away from you. Hold it like that for a few seconds. Check in your interior mirror to see it working.
When you're happy to do so, show me how you'd use the horn. Not too loud, we don't want to scare anybody.
You can't actually control the volume of your horn. Just check no one's around and press the middle of your steering wheel.
When you're ready, show me how you'd open and close a side window. Not too much, just had my hair done, don't want it blowing everywhere.
The button's on your right armrest. Press it down to open the window, then pull it up to close the window.
It's getting a bit misty. When you're happy to do so, show me how you would demist the front window.
You've got to make sure you keep your eyes on the road so you don't drift. Have a look where the button is, look ahead at the road. Look back at the button, look ahead on the road.
When you're happy to do so, show me how you would demist the rear window.
This button is on the left of the console and it says rear. Remember to keep your eyes on the road.
When you're happy to do so, show me how you turn on your headlights.
Make sure you're familiar with the dip beam icon. Turn your dial to this. Remember to turn them off again afterwards.